Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. I'm here to give my Jeddah Grand Prix race observation and quick review. So without any further ado, let's get into the video and let's start off with the race results. Starting off with P20, and it was Gasly, followed by Stroll in P19, Zhou in P18, Bottas in P17, Ricciardo in P16, Sargent in P15, Tsunoda in P14, Ocon in P13, Magnussen in P12, Albon in P11, Hulkenberg in P10, Hamilton in P9, Norris in P8, Behrman in P7, Russell in P6, Alonso in P5, Piastri in P4, Leclerc in P3, Perez in P2, and Max Verstappen wins the race from pole position. So with that being said, now let's head into my race observation. Behrman's incredible pace. Behrman had an incredible race in general. It couldn't have gone any better. My eyes were glued to what he was doing out on the track, and genuinely at first I thought that he's gonna take it light at lap 1, but in contrast he was actually pretty aggressive. Yet he was still wise enough to bail out of moves when he knew that the gap was gonna close. That is a very fine margin of judgment that only an experienced driver would have. It's kind of impressive to see that he already has it. He was setting lap times that was very similar to the lap times that was set by both the drivers ahead of him, which was George and Alonso. And his race pace was very solid and consistent for him to take P7 in the race, which honestly is a great result for him to take considering the kind of seat time that he had with that car. Unfair steward penalty. Stewards were all over the place with the penalties this weekend to see that Lando Norris actually got away with a jump start. Last season we saw that both Alonso and Ocon got penalty for being slightly off from their grid slot. Yet this time around, when a driver jumped the start and was ahead of his grid slot, I guess it's completely fine. The inconsistency is going to cause some big problems because other teams are going to use this as an example when they have a very similar situation to get away from the penalty. Red Bull's domination confirmed. Red Bull had a brilliant weekend. Both the drivers were flying, and I guess this kind of sets the theme for rest of the season. Two different tracks, and the RB20 was well clear of rest of the field under race trim. Both the drivers flew to take a 1-2 finish yet again for the team. It was good to see Checo not being a million miles away from Max, and I hope he carries forward this momentum into Australian Grand Prix as well. And talking about Max, I think he was on another galaxy altogether. Flawless drive from him, and I'm sure that he was already thinking about the Australian Grand Prix. Tight midfield pack. Despite Max and Checo being 10 seconds clear of rest of the field, I feel like the upper midfield was relatively close, with McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari and Aston Martin constantly fighting for positions. I feel like the pecking order will keep changing from one Grand Prix to another like how it was last year. Mercedes' weakness revealed. Mercedes, even with the change in concept with the W15, is still suffering from the bouncing issue. Lewis made it very clear yesterday that he was not feeling comfortable with pushing the car harder into the high-speed corners as the car was lacking the balance. The high-speed corners have always been one of Mercedes' big weakness in this new regulation, but the W15 seems to be handling it the worst. Seeing Lando literally pull away from Lewis at the high-speed corners made it feel like Lewis was driving a broken car. Lando was literally pulling 4 to 5 tenths just on the high-speed corners. That was helping Lando to keep Lewis at bay. Albon's compromised race. I feel like Albon's race got sacrificed here, and he was doing very well up until the contact that he had with Magnussen. Since then, it became very hard for him to get past Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda and even Magnussen. Though he finished P11 in the race, I feel like the Williams had the pace to finish in the points than Haas. Ricciardo needs to reevaluate. This arguably has to be one of Daniel's worst race. And what was shocking is that it's not like this was his first time at this track. He has driven here before, but seeing him make unforced errors was just shocking. He really needs to look back on what he's doing wrong because his chances of climbing that Red Bull seat is getting weaker and weaker. Stroll's unforgivable mistake. Stroll making that mistake should be scrutinized because anyone who has as much experience in the sport as Stroll should not be making that kind of a mistake, especially when you keep in mind that there was literally a rookie on the grid who had the least amount of seat time than anyone else on the grid, still managed to execute a very clean race to finish in the points. In a way, I kind of feel sick that Lance is holding on to that seat just because his dad owns that team. It's a seat that another young driver could probably make a better use of, especially during a time where there are ample of young talents in the sport who are waiting in the sidelines due to the lack of seats. So his seat in Formula 1 should definitely be scrutinized. Sauber's pit stop issues continues. Do you all remember Sauber having the pit stop issues with Bottas at Bahrain? Yes, it has made its way into the Jeddah Grand Prix as well, and this time the victim is Zhou. I don't know what the problem is, but whatever the issue is, it needs to be investigated and fixed before the Australian Grand Prix. Just guys, these are my observations of the Jeddah Grand Prix. On the whole, it was a pretty boring race. And thanks to the likes of Magnussen, Behrman, Lando and Lewis who made the race somewhat engaging. Overall, I give the race a 4 out of 10, and it only gets the 4 stars because of the above mentioned drivers who made the race exciting to watch. Somewhat exciting to watch. So yes guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and let me know down in the comments or what are your thoughts on the Jeddah Grand Prix. How did you like it? With that being said, if you haven't subscribed to the Red Master channel already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and also hit that bell icon while you're at it so you get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. And until next time, it's me Vinesh from Red Master and I'm out. Love you guys, stay safe, peace.